Good afternoon.
Okay, so something you guys do not know about me is I do story time here, and there's some really fine print on the schedule. I promise you it's there. The adults are the background singers. So whenever I say good afternoon or hello, that means adults and kids. We're going to try it again. All right? So, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
That is beautiful. Music to my ears. So, as a part of our Makers Month programming, we wanted to do some things slightly different this year in bringing the community together. We always do this, but we wanted to highlight it during Makers Month, as well as Women's History Month. And we are so delighted to have Modinat Ogunnaike here with us today. And she is the author of Magic Crown. Those of you coming in, come on in, grab a seat, or standing room only. And the kids are welcome to sit on the chair. And
you want to sit on the floor?
While everybody gets settled, I will ask that everybody keeps their mask on for the duration while they're in the building. And I want you all to have a good time. So before I fully introduce Modinat as our author, I want to give you a little background as to who she is. Meet Mo, author of #1 best-selling book, Magic Crown. And we have our very own copy here. This will be available here at the library. Excuse me, Mo, can you sign this for us? Okay. And it is also available at our local bookstore, Words, over in Maplewood. So I want to thank Words for their partnership. I want to thank you all for attending today. And I want to thank Mo for being here. And so more about Mo. With over 10 years of social service work, Mo is dedicated to helping others reach their highest potential, especially those groups who are overlooked. Mo intentionally showcases what a kind, confident, and inspiring woman looks like. It's this dedication to uplifting and encouraging young girls and everyone she encounters that propels her to write Magic Crown. And so today I welcome you. My name is Keisha Miller. I'm the teen librarian and volunteer coordinator here at South Orange Public Library. I'm also this year's New Jersey Librarian of the Year. And so it is especially heartwarming to have another woman as we celebrate Women's History Month join us for this wonderful occasion today. Please enjoy. Mo, I'm going to turn it over to you. This is an event that is being recorded, and once we edit it and have it available, it'll be available on our YouTube page. And so you can always go over to our YouTube page to see the link there. All right? Everyone, enjoy and welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Keisha, thank you so much. Thank you so much to the library. I appreciate it. Thank you all for joining me. I'm really excited. A smidge nervous, but it's a good thing. For those who do not know, my name is Modinat Ogunnaike. Some call me Mo, some call me Shola, and I'm the mother to these two fabulous princesses, Kemi and Adela. I'm just grateful because my husband and I, we've shown them the importance of self-love, self-worth, inner worth, and in return, we're raising kind, confident, amazing young ladies, and I'm so grateful for them. Our inspiration, well, my inspiration for the book was them, my daughters, as well as my self-love journey. It's been a journey, but I'm grateful that I'm here. I started writing the book when my oldest was 3, and I was on maternity leave with my youngest. And I finally put pen to paper. So I'm just grateful that I'm here. I'm able to do this. And if you all are ready to experience some magic, we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to read just a snippet of the book, give you a little taste of Magic Crown. And then we'll go over some questions. We have some giveaways. And I believe there's some crafts that are prepared for the kiddos. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to read it from the book, so don't mind me all, okay? It's right behind you. Okay. The last bell rang for school, and like usual, Sophia, Tilly, and I met at our favorite tree to walk home together. As soon as we stepped out of the schoolyard, it started to rain cats and dogs, and none of us had an umbrella. I squealed and put my hands on my head to shield my hair because I knew this fresh blowout from Mama was about to get soaked. I gave Tilly and Sophia a terrified look and did the only thing I could do, run. I immediately ran off and yelled as they were walking casually. "Run," I said, "run." We ran the rest of the way home. It felt like 50 miles. As we made it to the front porch of my house, I saw Emily and her mom approaching their front door. I yelled out to Emily to join us for some hot cocoa and after-school snacks with a piece of pound cake. Emily looked up at her mom, said a few words, and came running across the yard. Funny enough, the sun was shining so bright by this time. I guess it was just a quick rain shower. As we entered the kitchen, Tilly immediately asked me why I had squealed so loudly when it started to rain. Here's what happened. Tilly and Sophia had no clue, but my hair is the reason why I squealed so loudly when it started raining. My hair is what happened. I had to explain to them that my straightened hair changes immediately when water touches it, and I really wanted to keep this style for at least the first week of school. Emily chimed in, "Oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing. I was lucky my mom was waiting right outside the school for me in the car. I just prefer not to get my hair wet." Emily had hair full of curls just like mine. "Wow, are you kidding me? Do you know what I would do to get my hair to curl up or to do something besides staying straight?" Sophia said. Sophia is originally from Mexico, and she has always had straight black hair down to her waist. She said I would love a little bounce to my hair. Tilly giggled. Her family is from Ireland, and she has amazing red ringlets as hair strands, which was always so pretty to me, not to forget her amazing freckles. Tilly said, "Guys, have you noticed that the things we are complaining about is what we love about one another? Like you, Zoe. You and Emily don't like your beautiful curly hair getting wet because it changes the look. But Sophia, you wish that your hair would curl up when it gets wet. As for me, you guys always say how much you love my red hair and freckles, but I don't always love it. Being called connect the dots is not fun." Everyone was silent as they sipped their hot chocolate. We were in deep thought. We chatted a little more before it was time for the girls to head home and start our first day homework assignment. As I was getting ready to start my homework, Mama walked by and said she overheard us talking about our hair and things that we are not too happy about. "Baby, I want you to know something." "What, Mama?" So that's it for now. Like I said, this is just a snippet, a taste of Magic Crown. I would love for you all to come into the library, borrow the book. You can also purchase it from a few retailers, but we do have some questions right now for the kiddos. Okay, and we would love everyone's participation because we have some giveaways. So the first question should be right behind me. Can you guys guess what Zoe's mom said to her next? Does anyone know? Participation is welcome. Does anyone know what her mom said to her? Because Zoe was feeling a little weird after the rain made her hair wet. And she was a little upset, I guess, because of how she felt towards her hair. She didn't want to feel that way, and funny enough, all of her friends had a similar feeling. And her mom was trying to just encourage her to let her know, I don't want to give it away. Go ahead, Anna. Yes, so tell me a little more about what you mean when you say the magic crown.
About the curly hair?
Yes, Anna said it. So her mother basically was encouraging her more about her magic crown, which if you when you read the book, it's, her mom mentions, it's one of her visible pieces of magic, her hair. Because of the texture, because of how it looks, because of how she can change it, as well as Sophia and Emily and the rest of the Magic Crown crew. She wanted to share how important it is to love yourself, to embrace who you are, regardless if your hair is wet, if it's curly, if it's in pigtails, if it's in an afro, if it's straight and red, whatever way. She encourages her daughter the importance of loving your hair and embracing yourself.
Next one. Hand and say something. Hello.
Oh, shucks.
Hi.
Yes, Beth?
Kelly, children's librarian. Okay, as you get older, your hair changes color.
Yeah.
But I had really, really, really red hair growing up.
Okay.
And I didn't like it. I was embarrassed by it because it makes you stand out, and people would say things like, "Oh, there goes the redhead. Oh, look at the redhead." And I would have adults say, people would spend hours at a salon trying to get their hair your color, and all I wanted to do was hide. So I really appreciate the message that you're trying to share with everybody. That.
Thank you, Beth. I really appreciate that, and honestly, that's why I wrote it. So let me ask you a quick question. How did you deal with that? Or how long did it take you to fully embrace it?
Until it started to turn gray. And I'm like, I want my red hair back.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Beth, because that's the whole point of me writing the book, is to encourage the kids at a young age to embrace how they were created. We don't want to wait too long to embrace it, although some people may have to because they haven't been encouraged to love how their hair naturally looks. So thank you, Beth. Thanks for sharing. That's okay. I have something for you. Number 2, have you ever had a talk about what you didn't like about yourself, like Zoe and her friends did? So that could be to your family, to your parents, to your friends. And this can be for anyone. It doesn't have to be our kids who are here. But have you ever had a discussion about something about yourself that you were not too fond of? I'll wait.
Regina has
Right, Regina?
Yes.
My amazing sister.
Hi, everybody. I love this book, Magic Crown,
Thank you.
and I love you.
Oh,
That's it. Okay, so yes. So for me, I actually just got over as I turned 30, and now I'm 32, and I'm going to 33, but I just got over the way my feet look. You know, so that was a big deal. Yeah, growing up. I wouldn't go to pool parties. I wouldn't be scared at sleepovers. I would make sure I have socks and extra socks. I would really cover my feet because I danced my whole life. I started dancing when I was 2 years old. And so, you know, I took points for years. I took point in Irish step dancing for 12 years. So my feet are like, they have like scars, I have bumps and all that stuff on my feet. And I was really self-conscious about it, about myself. But you know, when my grandma told me, she said, it took a while for it to sink in, but she said, you know, there's some people that don't have feet, you know, and just be happy that God gave you those feet and God allowed you to walk, those feet carry you every day. And it took me until I was older to realize, like, you know what, that's right. You know, so I go get my pedicure and I wear my sandals, you know, and stuff, things like that now, yeah. But that's... And literally a big part of it is my husband too, because my husband made me feel like, he's like, it's your feet, just keep it moving, and that made me feel encouraged too, a lot, a big part of it. So yeah, so that's something I used to have to talk about, like, even at school, the little girls be like, why can't you come to my pool party? And I'll be like, oh, nah. I'm like, because I don't like my feet, okay? You know? So yeah, so that's something I didn't like to talk about, that I didn't like about myself, but as I got older, I realized, you know, I'm just thankful I have to, you know?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Reg, for sharing that. Maruf, did you also want to mention something? My amazing brother.
Yes, that's my sister, by the way, guys. Yeah, for sure. It might not be, I would say, like a hair issue, but even when you were writing this book, that's why I loved it so much, because even for myself, let's say, like, I'm of a darker skin tone, melanin's on full, and growing up, it wasn't the most embraced as it is at these times. And even people who were of the same race as me are like making fun of me. So even though in that time I did have an issue, like, dang, like, I remember even coming home like, yo, it's messed up, da da da. But as I got older, and I realized where it divides from. The richness, like when I realized like, oh, I'm Nigerian. Oh, this comes to this, when I actually discovered like, my history, I actually became proud of it. So I would say it kind of connects, similar to the book in a sense. Like everyone's different, but when I had the opportunity to embrace my differences or things that I thought were not cool, it actually like made me stand out. And as a grown man, that's something that we try to put in, for our baby Nova. Like, your hair, your complexion, the way you talk, the way you move, you are unique. So that's what our parents instilled, and that's what you instilled as well. So,
Thank you so much for
Magic
sharing. Magic Crown. And Melissa? Hey, girlfriend.
Hi, honey, I'm so proud of you. I mean, it's the same but totally different. I hated my hair and my freckles growing up, hated it. But I'm also old, so I was like growing up in the 70s and 80s, and the 70s, curly hair was just not, everybody had like Farrah Fawcett, most people I think know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And my hair wouldn't do that. And so it's kind of, you will, but I always told my girls as they were growing up, like, if everyone looked the same, it would be so boring and awful. I love that everybody's different, and that's what makes everybody special and amazing to me. And obviously the book is saying that too. I love that.
For sure. Thank you, Melissa. Can I ask you the same question I kind of asked Beth? Because I want to get an idea. Because I want to see how long, or what is the pivotal moment where people start to embrace themselves. How long did it take you to finally kind of start loving your hair? Or your freckles? Or is it still a journey?
I don't, a long time, I think, unfortunately, but everybody has their own journey, right? I think it just took me longer I have a really hard head, so it took longer to get it in there, but I think I was already an adult. I also think when I had daughters, I thought if they ever talk to themselves that way, I'd be so sad. So I think that also shifted. It already shifted for me, but it shifted even more when I realized that the way I thought and talked about myself affected them as well, and I didn't want them to get that from me, unconsciously or consciously. So
That's great. Thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing. Maruf, thank you so much for sharing. And Regina, thank you so much for sharing. Like I said, all of that, it's the reason why I wrote the book. And just to give my little example really quick before we move on, I had a lot of things, but specifically was my name. A lot of people did not know how to say my name. And it took a while for me to fully embrace it, to say, okay, I'm gonna have to explain how to pronounce my name a few times, but that's okay. That's okay. As long as I knew this is who I am, I love it. I was okay with it, but it took a while for me to be okay with it. And I encourage my daughters to do the same. Because Modinat wasn't a physically, when you see it, you're just like, hold on 1 second. And it's okay, I get it, but having to do that over and over can be a little annoying. But until I kind of fully embrace it, I just say, you know what, this is how you say my name, and I'm okay with constantly having to let people know. Because I knew I was going to have to do the same thing for my daughters, and they would also have to do the same thing for themselves. And I'll move on to the last question. Number 3, what unique feature or talent do you possess? This is for everyone, once again. It's not for just children or adults. Is there a specific, be careful, honey, is there a specific unique feature or something that you truly love about yourself? Anyone? Go ahead. You keep standing.
I'm double jointed.
That's fancy. And is that something that you truly love, or were you a little like, oh, everyone's not double jointed? That's cool. That's amazing. Librarian of the year. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? Yes, honey.
I'm silly.
Are you? Are you? I am too. Thank you for sharing, honey. Anyone else? Okay, well, that rounds up my portion. I know there are some crafts waiting for you all. I just want to thank you all so much for joining me. Like I said, I was a little nervous starting, but like I tell my daughters, it's okay to be nervous and still get things done. That's a part of life. And I'm just grateful that Keisha gave me the opportunity to share with you all this dream that I manifested. I've been talking about this book for a long time. Like I said, it's been over 6 years when I started writing it. And due to the pandemic, I was able to finally finish it in September, well, to publish it in September. So I'm grateful that you all came here to celebrate with me today and continue to embrace all of your differences and uniqueness because that's how God created us. So thank you all. I appreciate you.
We do have the book available for checkout. Mo is going to sign it and we'll catalog this and make it nice and pretty, so it'll be available on the shelves. But as I said, it is also available at Words Bookstore and other retailers. Do support your independent bookstores. That's going to be the second place you support after libraries. Okay. If you all, anybody who's a South Orange resident, you're eligible for a library card. You're more than welcome to take the time to do that today. And I want to thank Mo for being here. I want to thank Beth Halliday, our head of Children's Services, for helping coordinate this event. She's working with the patrons right now. And just the South Orange Library for hosting this. It's been a long, long time since a lot of us have been able to come together in person. And so this is one of the first events that we're having in person since the last 2 years. And also, as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, keep in mind we're also celebrating the library's Makers Month, and you can grab a menu. There'll be a few of them later around and at the desk. Next week, we are actually doing a community hike. So this is open to anybody. You don't have to be a South Orange resident. We're not one of the libraries that have to be a resident to participate in programs. This is open to all. We welcome all. So if you're interested, we do ask that you sign up. So in case it rains, we can notify you, give you a rain date. But it's going to be a community hike up at the reservation. And maybe Mo will join us too.
Maybe.
I don't know. But stay tuned for the rest of Makers Month because I think we're going to invite Mo back for our annual Makers Mayhem, which is going to be later in April, which is also detailed here. All things making. Jewelry, wood shop, planting, tech, all fun things. So thank you all for coming out this afternoon. We do have a craft, and it is a crown.
Cool.
Isn't it?
So the theme for Makers Month is sustainability, capitalizing on the word ability, because everybody, as we embrace our uniqueness, has the ability to do everything, okay? And the subtitle is Repurpose, Reuse, Reimagine. And so we repurpose these doilies by watercoloring them, and we have some strips of paper. So each child who's going to do one of these will get 2 strips of paper and about 2 to 3 doilies, and then they'll watercolor them. They'll be around to assist as well as other employees. They'll watercolor them, and while the watercoloring is drying, you can connect the 2 pieces of paper. It's actually watercolor paper, which is a lot sturdier than regular paper. And then we can size it so that it fits on there. This one's a little smaller, but yes. Okay? So you're welcome to join us for that. We'll transform the room so that the tables can be brought together and we can do that craft. You're welcome to browse around the children's room, take a look. We have our annual summer reading program coming up. Everybody's welcome to participate in that. And if there's any questions, you can see Beth Halliday, you can ask me, we'll be around. All right? Mo? Thank you.